Hi everyone, and welcome to Katie's Take. As the mother of a teenage daughter, I know teenagers are not always so easy to talk to, particularly when they don't want to be in the same zip code as you. But clinical psychologist Barbara Greenberg has some tips for parents about opening up a dialogue with their teenagers and things we should never say to them when we're having those important conversations. Hi Barbara.
Hi Katie.
Nice to see you. I just read that 84% of adolescents think highly of their mothers. Who are these teenagers and how can I adopt them?
They are your teenagers and they are everybody else's teenagers are out there. Their well-kept secret is that they really do care about their parents and care what their parents think about them.
And these days I think teenagers are under so much pressure, social pressure, academic pressure. It seems like the only escape valve they have to kind of unload about that is their parents, because they know their parents love them unconditionally, although they test that.
They do test that, they certainly do, and I love that you said that, because I talk to many, many teens in my practice all week long, and what they complain about is that sometimes they just want to vent to their parents. They just want to tell their parents what's going on in their life, and what their parents tend to do is start talking and interrupting and telling them what they would have done as a teenager.
Or try to fix things sometimes.
Correct.
So let's talk about how you start those conversations. What advice would you give parents?
When you ask a teenager how your day was, it's too loaded, it's too direct. They're not ready to give you all of that information yet.
And it's also just too general a
question. It's too general. And also their day's not over yet at 3 or 4 o'clock. They still have things to do. So the things to do are to ask indirect questions. So if you want to find out how your child's teen's date was, you don't say, how was the date? Did the boy drive too quickly? Was he smoking marijuana? Instead, you say, how was the movie? And since teenagers like to control the rate and pace at which they give information, they'll tell you about the movie. And then if you remain quiet, listen, don't interrupt, don't get overly emotional, that's a big one, and stay calm, they'll give you the rest of the info.
What are some of the worst things you can say to a teenager?
Okay, there's a group of comments that I call the invalidating comments. Something like, you're too sensitive, get over it, suck it up. Those I refer to as the invalidating comments. Then there are the comparison comments. Your brother did very well in that class. I don't understand why you can't do well in that class. And then there are the personal comment that I dislike the most is when parents say to kids, I know you better than you know yourself. Because the teens don't even know who they are yet. How can the parents possibly know them better than they know themselves?
Let's talk about drinking, drugs, and sex, because those are the 3 toughest topics to broach. How do you do that?
You do it gradually. You always make it clear from the time the kids are little that these topics are okay to talk about in the house. There's no such thing as a one-time discussion about sex and about alcohol. You start talking about these things as soon as the kids start asking questions, and then as they get older you give them more information. You also use media opportunities. So if you see something about maybe Lindsay Lohan or some other star role model who's gotten into trouble, go over that article with them, ask them their opinion. They love to get involved in conversation by giving their opinions.
So when you have an open, honest, easy dialogue with your child, it really helps them in terms of staying away from risky behaviors, doesn't it?
That's exactly right. And there's been many, many studies done on that, and this is what has been found. Teens and even adults who look back and say that they have had good relationships with their parents, they're less susceptible to peer influence, negative peer influence. They're less likely to get drug involved. They're less likely to get involved in unsafe sex. And they're less likely to have mental health problems. And this is very interesting. They tend to have better immune systems and live longer lives.
Wow. Barbara Greenberg, thank you very much. Really excellent advice for parents who are dealing with teenagers, and it's not always easy. I speak from experience. Meanwhile, thank you all so much for watching. You can see all the episodes of Katie's Takes by going to Yahoo or on abcnews.com. And if you'd like information about my daytime talk show, well, you can watch it in the afternoon where it's playing in your city, or go to katiecouric.com. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.